one thing I think Japan and Connecticut have in common is a very well-educated workforce. And that allows us to build the most complicated and sophisticated machines. Here in Connecticut, of course, we build submarines, we build jet engines, we build helicopters at Sikorsky, and advanced manufacturing is to Connecticut what Silicon Valley is to California. I'll just say it's been a tough year for both of our countries with COVID. Right now, our infection rate is very low. Our businesses are open. Our GDP is more than 90% back. Our service economy, a little slower to follow. That's restaurants, retail, just because of all the interface going on. But we are back in business. And that means not only our manufacturing, which we kept open over the last 12 months. We couldn't afford to stop. I assume it's much the same for many of your businesses as well. We were able to do that safely, first with testing, now with vaccinations. Very little outbreak there. Another place we have in common is when it comes to the knowledge economy. And here, Connecticut is a leader, as is Japan, in terms of the life sciences. All around Yale New Haven Hospital, Yale Medical School, Jackson Labs, UConn Health. We have a big life sciences and growing sector of our economy. And there, I'd like to think there's some real ways that we can partner with each other as our respective companies are able to open up broader markets, with each other. And finally, it's finance and digital media, other knowledge-based economies. Look, when it comes to, very low-wage workers and, not as sophisticated work, Connecticut is probably not your home. But when it's for, sophisticated work, knowledge workers, Connecticut is, where you want to be. We have one of the largest digital media enterprises in the country. It's sort of fascinating that UBS, the big bank, had a large trading floor. Now it's a digital media production studio. That happened over the last 5 years. And when it comes to finance, as you probably have heard, Stanford and Lower Fairfield County is part of that New York City ecosystem. There we have some of the most sophisticated hedge funds trading in the world, making a big input in terms of our data centers and a broadband connectivity. And more in the northern part of the state where I am right now in Hartford, Connecticut, which is the capital of the state. It's the insurance capital of America. And that means we have a great marriage in terms of our health insurance industry, led by Cigna, Aetna, and as well as an amazing hospital system. So they work in real collaboration as we try and take the lead there in terms of providing not only high quality healthcare for all of our folks, but also how we ensure that in a way that holds the line on healthcare costs, where we've done pretty well over the last few years, but over the last few decades, I don't know about in Japan, but healthcare costs are eating up more and more of our state and business budgets. With that, I'd just like to invite each and every one of you that wanted to come to Connecticut. I'll tell you, June, July, and August, a pretty nice month to be here. We'd show you, the best of what we could, the hospitality. As you maybe know, it's a state that people are rediscovering. We used to be, sort of that state that's between Boston up there in the Northeast and New York City down below. And we do play a big role as an intermediary there, much lower cost alternative to those urban environments. But more importantly, and I'd be curious to know whether this is true in Japan as well, a lot of the young millennials, a lot of that knowledge, smart talent is moving from the cities back to our small towns and suburbs of Connecticut, where with a broadband connectivity, G5, we're able to telecommute. We did more telelearning this year than ever before until our schools got open fully. We're doing more and more telehealth as well. And that means you don't necessarily have to be in the big city. You can save an awful lot of money and get the same quality work experience and the same quality workers at a lot less cost right here.
Hello and welcome to Connecticut. My name is Peter Denius and I'm the president and CEO of Advanced CT. And it's my pleasure to share the Connecticut story with you all here today. And I want to thank you in advance for your interest in our great state. We have such a strong value proposition for Japanese companies here in Connecticut. And as you will see, we already have many economic and cultural ties. So we'd very much like to see our relationship continue to grow, our partnership with JETRO to continue, and we very much look forward to answering your questions and seeing how we might be able to help you here in our great state of Connecticut. So with that, let's get right into the presentation. And here you have a shot of beautiful Hartford, Connecticut and the Connecticut River. Okay, so first some background on Advanced CT and my organization. We are a nonprofit, as you see here, focused in economic development with a particular focus on business retention and expansion, as well as business recruitment. We work in close partnership with the State Economic Development Agency, which is led by David Lehman, and you can see his picture here on the right side of the slide. Next, just to orient you as to where Connecticut is in the Northeast, we are strategically located between New York and Boston on the northeastern US coastline. And to put that into some perspective, Connecticut is within 500 miles of about 1/3 of the United States GDP and nearly 2/3 of Canada's employment. Stamford, located in the southwest corner, is about an hour drive to New York City, and Hartford is about an hour and a half, 2 hours from the city of Boston. We're a small state of 3.5 million people and the third smallest by geography, but we have an incredible concentration of global companies operating here. As our governor, Ned Lamont, likes to say, we punch way above our weight. Businesses and people are flocking to Connecticut as we emerge from the COVID-19 pandemic. In fact, nearly 20,000 households have moved to our state in the last year. We have the recent announcements of businesses relocating their headquarters to Connecticut, including Philip Morris International and ITT. And the reason for that is really what you're seeing here on this page. Connecticut has some of the best schools, the best healthcare, and highest quality of life that you're going to find in our country. And importantly, we are much less expensive than New York City or Boston. In this work from anywhere environment that we now find ourselves in, employers and increasingly their employees want to be in Connecticut. As you know, where a company decides to locate is really about people and about talent and accessing that talent. Connecticut is fortunate. We've got one of the most highly educated and productive workforces in the country. And it's this base of talent that has attracted world-leading companies to our state, as you're going to see here on the upcoming slides. Connecticut's educational system is one of the best in the country. We've got 38 colleges and universities, including Yale University, University of Connecticut, and our community college system is 5th best in the country, and our state is a leader in adults with bachelor's and advanced degrees. We have 5 key clusters, and I'm going to touch on each one of these in the next few slides. I'll start with advanced manufacturing, where we truly have a world-class ecosystem of advanced manufacturing companies here in the state, creating more than $30 billion of economic output annually. Connecticut Sikorsky, owned by Lockheed Martin, builds the Black Hawk helicopter located in North Haven, Connecticut. And tool manufacturer Stanley Black & Decker is headquartered in Hartford. And finally, another example is ASML, a world-leading manufacturer of chip-making equipment, which has its US headquarters here in Connecticut and a manufacturing facility here. Moving on to life sciences, this sector really revolves around our educational institutions, most notably Yale University and Jackson Labs, as well as the University of Connecticut. We have large biopharma companies here, such as Pfizer and Boehringer Ingelheim and Sanofi, all of whom have significant operations in our state, as well as a vibrant ecosystem of startup biotech companies. We rank fourth in the nation for life science patents, and that in turn allows Connecticut to attract venture capital, where we are fourth in the country, as well as significant funding from the prestigious National Institute of Health. Moving on to financial services and insurance, these two sectors account for roughly 20% of Connecticut's gross state product. And here we really have a high concentration of many of the largest and well-known hedge funds, mostly located in southwestern Connecticut. And we have an equally high concentration of insurance companies in our capital city of Hartford, which is often called the insurance capital of the United States. Both these sectors are, of course, being radically disrupted by technology. And so our state continues to attract many fintech and insurtech companies that want to come here and do business with these incumbent insurers. Moving on to technology, Connecticut was ranked the fourth most innovative state by Bloomberg. We have over 6,000 technology companies operating in our small state, including Indeed, which is owned by Tokyo-based Recruit Holdings. Connecticut's also well known for our concentration of digital media companies. Most notably is ESPN, which is headquartered in Bristol, Connecticut. And we've got a rapidly growing subsector of clean tech and electric vehicle technology companies, as you're going to see in the next couple of slides. So Connecticut is committed to power 100% of its grid from net zero carbon sources by 2040, and that positions our state to lead the United States in renewable energy production. Now, a large portion of that commitment will be met by offshore wind, and Connecticut was recently chosen as the location for the construction and deployment of two of the country's largest offshore wind projects. These projects are creating enormous opportunity for advanced manufacturing companies focused on wind who are interested in co-locating here in close proximity to these projects. We're also making, as a state, a major commitment to zero emission vehicles. And that, of course, requires a significant investment in the infrastructure and technology to support these vehicles. So here again, we've got companies already here in our state and many companies out from outside the state and even outside the country very interested in coming to Connecticut, given that we as a state have made this commitment to this technology. So that's an overview of our key clusters. I wanted to also mention incentives. Our state does offer an array of economic incentives, including investment tax credits, as well as foreign trade zone benefits. We'd be happy to review these with you should you have interest in learning more. But I recognize this is a fairly detailed and dense slide. And so in the interest of time, I'm going to move on. But we'd be happy to answer your questions on our incentives here. And finally, I just wanted to wrap up by pointing out that Japan and Connecticut, as I said at the top, already have economic and cultural ties, and they're significant. Japan is Connecticut's 10th largest export partner and our 15th largest import partner. And we have affiliates of over 40 Japanese companies already operating here. We also believe we can do more together. So we would be pleased to meet with you and see how we might help you consider our great state. And here is the team that can help you do that. Any of us are happy to answer your questions, respond to your direct inquiries. Please don't hesitate to reach out to anyone on our team here at Advanced CT. And with that, I want to thank you again for your time and attention, and we look forward to speaking to you. Thank you.